In this video, we are going to talk about translation in Flutter and how to implement it using GetX. So here is just a boilerplate. So I'm going to go ahead and clean this boilerplate, just a startup Flutter project. So we'll just get rid of all of this. Okay, so yeah, we don't have this anymore. So I will go ahead and create a folder here. I'll just call this home. Then inside here, now since we'll be using GetX, I'll be using a controller and a view. Okay, so here I'll just create, say, home.dat. Now you can structure your code anyhow you like, it does not matter. Then I will create, let's call this home controller. .dat. So this I'll just import material. And just create a stateless widget. I'll just call this my home page. Okay. What I'll do, I'll just do this. Yeah, just undo this and I'll get rid of this here. Yeah, I'll just get rid of this also. Then what I really need is just this, the scaffold. And then I'll add that here. So I don't go ahead, writing a whole lot. All right, so this is just to make things easier for us. I'll then get rid of this. Then I will import home.dat. Okay, so we have this. What's wrong? Yeah, let's just start cleaning this up again. Yeah, we'll get rid of this. Then in the body, do we need anything here? Yep. So let's see. This is just center column. Yeah, it's all right. We'll just add stuffs here. Okay, we don't need the floating action button, so I'll just get rid of it. Yeah, we're having a lot of squiggly lines, so I'll just add const here. This should fix that. All right, I already have const up here, so I can get rid of this. Okay, so we are okay. All right, I'll just add const keyword here. All right, let's run. Okay, it's launching. So while it's launching, we'll come to GetX page. All right, just go to pub.dev/packages/getx, so I can get this. So I'll just copy this. Now I already have my terminal set up with Flutter, so I can easily use the terminal to install this, or I can also copy this and paste in my pubspec.yaml file. But I mean, I have terminal, so all right, I'll just paste this here. This is still launching. All right, let's just wait a little bit. I'll just pause the video and come back once it's done. So it's done loading. So let's install our GetX package. That's the get package. Okay. Okay, so you've installed the GetX package and then we've launched the app. So the next thing we need to do is I'll just come here and just give it a name here. Let's call this translation. Okay, then I don't like saying this debug, so let's just get rid of that. Debug, what's that? Sorry. Debug should check whether mode false. Okay, so now that we have GetX, we just have to convert this to a get material app. So we need to import GetX. Yep. We imported GetX, then so we have installed GetX. So the next thing we need to do is do some little bit of setup and create our files. All right, so down here in our lib folder, I'm going to create another folder. I will call this folder translation. Now you can call it anything you like, I just prefer calling it translations. Then inside there I can now add my translation file. Now I'm going to have two languages that I think I'll just do English and French. en.dat, that's for English, .dat, and then another one that will be fr, that's for French, .dat. Then I'll now create a new file called this app translation.dat. Okay, so now in my app translation.dat, okay, let's add some language, some text here. So here we just call this let's create a map of string. All right, then we now call this en is equal to the map. Just terminate this here. All right, so let's just have hello world, that's for English, hello world for English. Which one should we add? Let me just add translation. No, sorry, translation. Yeah, so we have that translation. Okay, this is all right for now. Okay, so we also need to have this exact same map in the French, but in this French we'll just call this hello world. Of course, hello world is not hello world in French, so we need to go to Google. For now, I'll just say translate hello world in French. Okay, I don't know. Can't pronounce that. Okay, that's sorry, that's this hello. Sorry, it's yeah, let me check again. Okay, yeah, hello. Okay, correct. So we're not doing hello world, it's just hello. So let me just be sure. Okay, yeah. Then translation. Also, let's get that. Let me increase my fonts. Sorry. Okay, so that's it. I'll increase this a little bit again. That's better. Okay, so I have this. Now take note, the keys must be the same, because when you're calling this in your code, you will not be calling this, you'll rather be calling this. So hello here must be the same as what is in the English, as French and English must actually be the same. So let me save this before I forget. All right, so now we have our two language files. Okay, now you can add this into one file, but personally I don't like it, because by the time you're done writing your code or your entire application, you end up having up to thousands of translations. So I mean, it's best to separate them. You have English, and then you have French, Spanish, any other language you want. All right, so in our app translation we can just create a class. We can make it an abstract class. Yeah, abstract class. I'll just call this app translation. Okay, that's not what I need. I have two different files, so I'll just create static map. This is gonna be string, comma, as in mark string, then another map of string. I think I made a mistake somewhere. Let me see. Okay, here, and then here also. Yeah, so I'll just call this translation key is equal to, then I'll then import my keys, that's the English and the French. So this is, we have English and we have French. So I'll just get rid of this. Okay, I just let me be sure. Okay, sorry, this is terminate. Okay, now I have to import them. So I'll just import the English file and the French file. FR, yeah. What did I call it? Let me see. Okay, made a mistake. This is FR for French. So I'll just import that also. Okay. So now we have our app translation file. Now we need to go back to our main.dat and then set it up. All right, so that our app knows about this. Here what we do is, okay, here we can now start adding our translation keys. So translation keys, our translation keys is the class, which is going to be app translation keys. Then the next thing we then need to add is our locale. All right, so our locale, now you can go ahead and say const locale, const locale with the language code. You can even see an example here with the language code. Now this, you're hard coding this, so but it's advisable to actually allow the app detect automatically. So what we just do here is going to be get, that's with the help of GetX, get.device locale. So this would automatically get the device locale for you instead of you hard coding it. So then we also need a fallback locale. Now with this fallback locale, of course, you can then go ahead and add, say, add the fallback cons. In my case, I'm going to be using English US. Okay, so I think we are done. Yeah, I think we are done. All right, so what we'll do now is let me just try running the app again, so be sure that everything is still working. Okay, it's up again, everything is looking fine. All right, so now let's go to our home page and add a little design here. So here I'll just add a button in the app bar that's in action. I'll just add an icon button. Okay, so icon button, I mean, I'm basically not using it for anything, but I just want to click on this button. When I click on the button, I will be able to change this translation and whatever is here to any language. All right, so let's see. Now to do that, now we have translation here. Now we need this translation to come in from, or to be read from our translation file. So to do that, we can come here. You can see we have translation here. So mind you, we are not taking the value, we are picking the key. Okay, so pick the key, come back here, add it here, and don't forget to add .tr, means translate. All right, it's from the GetX util package. Sorry, from the GetX package, but under util.dat. All right, now it's giving all this squiggly line because now it's no longer a constant, so we have to get rid of that. So you can see we have this. Now for the next thing, we also have hello here. So I'm going to replace this with hello again .tr. Now we need to get rid of this const. Let's get rid of this. All right, now look at this. Immediately we have hello world once I saved, which means it's already recognized our translation files and our translation. Okay, so now I want, when I click on this, I would like to change from English to French. So let's see how to do that. So what I would do is okay, let me make use of the controller, separation of concerns. So I'm going to use my home controller. So in my home controller, I'm going to use let me import get. Got that. Then I'll now create a home controller class that will extend my GetX controller. Okay, I'm not overriding anything. Okay. All right. So here now we are going to just create just one function. So the job of this function would just be to change the language for us. Okay. So I'm going to say, I'll just call void, call this change language. All right. So what I'll do, let me just make this a little bit better, yeah, by receiving the language. Now you can structure this anyhow you like. This is just a test. You can structure it anyhow you like. So what I'll do here, I'll just call local. I'll import material, local, yeah. Then I'll use a simple just if statement, that's if else. So I'll now check language. If language is equal to en, that's for English, then I'll just say local is equal to const yep, const local, then yeah, the country code, else I'll just use it here. No need for the else if we just have only two. So I'll just copy this and paste here. This is going to be for French, fr sorry. Then at the end of the day, we'll now say get dot update local, then pass local to it, and that's all. This is just a very simple function. So all it's doing is receiving a language code and then checking if it's English. If it's not English, then it will be French. Then call GetX to update our local for us. Okay, so back to home. Okay. So over here, I need on press of this button, I want to call this function. So, but first I need to initialize my controller. That's I have to tell my view about the controller. So I can just say final controller is equal to, then we can now use get.put. Okay, this is a const, needs to go, it's no longer a const. Then we have get.put. I need to import my home controller. Okay, so why do I have an issue here? Let's see. Method put. Oh, okay. I need to call this from change this to get. Yep. So you can see we have this, and I think we have one little error in our main.dat. So let's go and check that out. What's wrong? Oh, okay. Yeah. Let's get rid of this. Okay. So back in our home, you can now say controller dot change language. So this controller dot change language, if you can see here, it requires a language code. So, but first I'll just do this. So it requires a language code. So I will now say language here. I'll just say FR for French, because I mean by default, my fallback is English by default, and even my device local also is English. So I'll just make it, though I can still go ahead and change this. So it's up to you. Which, let's just say in an ideal situation, yeah, you will want to put like a context menu down here. So on click of that context menu, you have different language, or better still, you can create a page for languages. So all your user has to do is go to that page and then select any language they want. Then you can now use a storage to save that language. That's the device storage to save that language. Maybe get storage, can use that to save the language. Then whenever a user opens the app, it will load up the language from the device storage. All right, so let's continue. Okay, so with all of this, I'll just do a hot restart. Let me be sure everything is working. Okay, everything is working perfectly. So let me now click on this. Voila, can see hello changed. And this, now if I click again, of course it's still French. So if I change this back to en, after all, once I save it will actually refresh. Then I can now click on this back to English. If I change this again to French, so by so doing we've just implemented translation. But now let's take it a bit further. Let's say you will not always be using a static text. Okay, sometimes or most times you'll be using dynamic text. Let's say, for example, a user's name or anything. So let's try something else. All right, so let's say I have something like this. Say my name is Denis. All right, and then this Denis is dynamic. Let's say it's only when a user logs in, any user that logs in, this would have to change. So I can't do this. I can't do this. This will obviously not work. If I come here, let's do this and say name, and then I paste this here. My name is Denis. Of course, let me just include this here also. I'm going to change this. I'll just change my name is. Okay, here. Yeah, if you know how to speak French, I mean, you can pronounce that. Okay. All right, this right now, this is starting. Now, this would work, but it's not dynamic. So if I do this, let me add size box with a height of, let's just say 20. Okay, and then let's call name here. So if we call name here, okay, yeah, it's not working because I just changed it. So whenever you add anything here, you need to do a hot restart of the app so that it can read the language file. So I'll do a hot restart. All right, so it's now working. So we have my name is Denis. Now what if I want this Denis to be dynamic? All right, so it's very easy. So all you have to do is come back here to your language file and replace the dynamic word with mod s or percentage s or mod s, as the case may be, and then save this. All right, I also do same here, mod s. Then let me refresh that. Okay, so you can see we have mod s here. All right, now since we have mod s, now we need to tell GetX or our translation what should be replaced in place of this mod s. This mod s is more like, it's like a string. All right, it's an argument. All right, so which argument do you want to pass? So here, instead of tr, we use .tr args for argument, and this takes in a list of arguments. So here we can now say Denis and save. So we now have Denis. Now if I do this, I can do the same thing, but this time around change the name to John. We have John. So I can make this dynamic. I can even go to my controller and let me just create string name is equal to John here, for example. Then come over here and then say controller.name. Okay, John. Alright, so I can always change this also to say Paul. Let's use Paul. And then let's do this. Alright, so we have Paul. Okay. Now let's take this a little bit further again. This is just one argument. Now, since this is a list, of course, which means we can actually go ahead and add multiple arguments to it. But first, even if we add this, since it's a list, we go ahead and add, let's say Mary, and let's say, okay, let me just use a complete sentence. Let's say my name is Dennis. Okay, let me just use Mary. Anyways, say Mary. All right. Now this will not work. If I save this, this will not. Even if I do a hot restart, it will not work. Now it's not seeing Mary because there is no placeholder for Mary. We only have one placeholder in our language file, which is this guy here. All right, so for us to include Mary, let me say, comma, my sister is what s. Now if I save this and then restart, now this would now work. Now we have this, my sister is Mary. But you can see my name is Danny, my sister is Mary. Okay, let's go back. Okay, we have two of them here, so I can now add let me add Paul here. My sister is okay, not Mary. Jane. This is Jane. Yeah, Jane. So you can now go ahead and add multiple arguments. Okay, all right. Now personally, I don't really like this. Personally, I don't really like using arguments. I prefer named parameters. Okay, because it's easier for me to read. Okay, so let's see how we can actually enhance this a little bit so that your code is more readable, and even your language file also is also more readable. Now, we forgot to add this here. Now look at this. If I change this to French, you see everything goes back to this because we don't have this here, this part. So let's add this also. But I'll need to translate this. Okay, copy that. And then replace it here. Save that and then restart. Okay, so everything is working perfectly. All right, so let's take it a bit further with parameters. That's named parameters. So I'll just create this. All right, so with the name parameters, let's try something like this. Let's add that translation, call this country. Let's call this country. My name is this. I am from this. Sorry about that. So I am from this. So now instead of us to use mod s, we can do this at name. My name is name. I am from at country. Now this is much better. At least I can easily read this. Even anybody can easily read this. So for us to use this, we can, okay, before we go any further, let's add this also to the French. Okay, I know about this. Change this. I am from, sorry, I don't know any French. So I'll just copy this. Come back here and then paste this here. All right, then save this. Okay, so to use that, we can now say, let's create another text widget. And then we now have country dot tr params. All right, now this parameter, this takes a map. So in this map, we now have name. Because we had name there, we can just say, which name should we use? Let's use Pongyi. Yeah. And then country, yeah, we can just use France. It's all right. Okay, let me add this second break. Okay, so we have this. So we saved and nothing worked, but it's actually working. We just have to restart. See, my name is Pauline, I'm from France. So we can always swap this values, but this remains because this is what our translation needs. At name, at country, to just replace them. Okay, so that's that with translation with Flutter with the help of GetX. So please like, comment, share, and subscribe.